Welcome back, everybody, to Laying the Points with Luca Rosano. I'm your host, Luca Rosano. We are here live from the Parlay Studios with another jam-packed show. In today's show, we're going to be taking a look at various topics from all of sports. We're going to be taking a look at the Bucks statement win in Game 1 over the Celtics. We're going to be previewing and taking a look at Game 1 tonight between the Sixers and the Heat. And the Maple Leafs, they begin their playoff run. The biggest question, will the Maple Leafs finally get past the first round this season? We'll look into that. And then to conclude the show, I'll be giving you my best bets in both the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs. The NHL playoffs get underway tonight. Yes, it's going to be a crazy time for all you sports lovers. But we're first going to start here with the Milwaukee Bucks. It was a statement series opening win over the Celtics. I went into the series saying that the Celtics were going to win this one in 6. I don't know if I feel comfortable with my pick after what I saw in yesterday's game. Giannis Antetokounmpo put everybody on notice. He proved why he is still one of the best, if not the best basketball player in the world today. He put up his second career playoff triple-double, 24 points, 13 rebounds, 12 assists. He could not be stopped. He had a sick highlight reel dunk where he tipped it to himself. And really, nobody could guard Giannis on the Celtics. There's a funny meme of Zion Williamson trying to be guarded in high school. That's how it felt in this game. The Celtics are trying to do whatever they could to try to slow down Giannis, but they simply had no answer for him. And I think this game is a reminder to everybody, including myself, just how good this Bucks team is. This is a Bucks team. They coasted through the regular season. A lot of people thought they're not going to go back to back. Well, they're playing their best basketball of the season right now. This is without Chris Middleton, their second best player, their all-star on this team. But Giannis, Drew Holiday, that size they have inside, the defense that they displayed. Everybody was raving on and on about how the Celtics were coming in with the NBA's best defense. The Bucks are like, we got a solid defense that can play too. The Milwaukee Bucks are still the team to beat in the Eastern Conference, and that was the vibe everybody got from that first win. It was a dominating win. Giannis blocking Jason Tatum as he tried to get something up to the basket. The Celtics, they did not look like the Celtics that just swept the Nets. Maybe that should tell you how bad the Nets really were. But this is a Bucks team that they will be a tough out. And if you want to beat the champs, you're going to have to play your best basketball. Now, all of a sudden, the Boston Celtics, they got a must-win in Game 2 because you do not want to go down 0-2 to the defending champs, and then all of a sudden you got to go to Milwaukee. And Milwaukee's got to be feeling great about themselves right now. Middleton can continue to rest, rehab. Hopefully he can be back for later on in the playoffs if they make it there. But this Bucks team, they are legit, and they put everybody on notice, including the Celtics, with that statement win in Game 1. So watch out for these Bucks. Fear the deer. This is a team that they play their best basketball right now. We've been seeing that. So I was quite surprised with what I saw. I thought the Celtics were going to win Game 1. I thought it was going to at least be closer. But the way that the Bucks won, this is a team that they're not playing around. They're not playing with their food. They definitely have what it takes to possibly go back to back. So we'll see what happens in Game 2. Let's move on to the other NBA matchup I want to talk about now. The Philadelphia 76ers. They beat the Toronto Raptors in 6 games. I was over there with the parlay at Jurassic Park. It was an electric atmosphere. But unfortunately, the Raptors season came to an end. So now what does that mean? The Sixers will be taking on Kyle Lowry and the Miami Heat. Kyle Lowry will not be playing tonight. But this is a series that the Sixers are going to be without Joel Embiid for at least the first 2 games. So the question is, can the Sixers survive without Joel Embiid? As ESPN's Woj tweeted, Embiid won't travel for games 1 and 2 in Miami, but there's optimism he could return as soon as game 3 and 4. And obviously, Joel Embiid got injured after he did the airplane, and then on the other end, he got hit in the face by Siakam. Very controversial play. A lot of people have been weighing on and about it on social media. I mean, you look back at it, wasn't intentional. Didn't really look intentional to me, but a lot of Sixers fans are pissed off at Siakam right now. But it does look like Joel Embiid will be able to play in the series, and they need him if they want any chance to win the series. Jimmy Butler, he did miss Game 5 for the Heat in that series against the Hawks. He will be playing tonight. But the question is, can Philadelphia survive these first two games without Embiid, who in all likelihood is going to come back with a mask? I believe they can. If Philadelphia loses these first two games, this series is over. But if they can split, if they can steal one in Miami, this becomes a series. And the reason why I say they can is because I saw a lot of good stuff in that game 6 win against the Raptors that lead you to think maybe Philadelphia does have enough to survive these games without their MVP candidate in Joel Embiid. James Harden finally looked like the old James Harden of old. And now he's going to be the sole focus offensively for this team. They need Houston James Harden to come on full display in Miami. And I think he's capable of still doing that. He looked motivated in game 6. He looked like a guy that finally said to himself, I'm not playing any games anymore. I'm going to prove to people that I'm still one of the elite scorers in the NBA. Tyrese Maxey, I have a lot of faith in him. Kyle Lowry's not going to be going for Miami in game 1. I think Maxey can do a lot of good things on the perimeter, getting to the basket, setting up his teammates. And the Sixers, those role players, they were hitting a ton of shots in Toronto in game 6. Those are going to be the X factors in tonight's game. Can guys like Danny Green, who was on fire, can he come up big? Can Tobias Harris hit his shots? And can the Sixers get the bench production that they got in game 6 in this one? It's going to be tough because Miami is one of the deepest teams in the NBA. I would say they are the deepest team in the NBA with the amount of elite depth that they've had. They've shown us all season long. A star goes down, they are ready to go. They got Tyler Hero. He's going to win the Sixth Man of the Year. They got Bam Adebayo, and they just got a plethora of role players that know how to get it done. But don't sleep on Philadelphia. I think that win on Thursday in Toronto might serve to be some extra motivation for them. And Doc Rivers, he got a lot of that hate, a lot of that, burden off his back by finally closing out a series that everybody thought he was going to blow. So let's see if Doc can cook now and if he can at least get his Sixers team to get one of these two. I'm going to say the Sixers do win one of these next two, and I think this is going to be a great series. I think it's going to go the distance, 6 or 7, most likely 7. But I think Philadelphia will be a tough out. So my answer to this question is yes. I think the Sixers can survive without Joel Embiid, and we'll see if they can in Game 1 tonight. So that's it for the NBA with their games. We do have another game tonight. I'll be giving you my pick a little bit later on in the show. We got the Mavs taking on the Suns. That's going to be a fantastic series. But let's talk some hockey on the show. I feel like I haven't done a lot of hockey coverage on the show because I was waiting for this moment. The Toronto Maple Leafs, they officially begin their playoff run, and they will be going up against the two-time Stanley Cup champs. I just want to start by saying this. I really dislike how the hockey NHL playoff setup is. I mean, they got to go back to what it was before because you're telling me the Leafs had their best season ever, and now they got to be going up against the two-time Stanley Cup champs. Like, this should be an Eastern Conference Finals matchup, not a matchup that you get in the first round. So for as many people who are optimistic about the Leafs, the type of season that they had, Austin Matthews, Rocket Richard winner, 60 goals, there's not going to be a whole ton of optimism throughout this series because they're going to be going up against a very, very capable team. And it's funny because for as good as the Lightning are, a lot of people still think the Maple Leafs are going to win this series convincingly. There was a graphic on Twitter. This was shared by Dom at The Athletic. The series probability actually pins the Maple Leafs as 62% favorites to win the series. And as you see the graphic, 18% of people think it's going to be Leafs in 6, 18% think it's going to be Leafs in 7. But all in all, people are picking the Leafs to win this series. I don't know if I would do that until this team proves that they can finally get the monkey off their back. This is a team that has not gotten out of the first round in what feels like forever. And the Lightning, they are no joke. They are a very talented team. So I think the X factor for the Maple Leafs going into the series is going to be their depth scoring. We all know about Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner. Those guys are going to be expected to perform. That dynamic duo finally has to come through. But will the other guys step up on this Leafs team? Will those role players be able to get it done? That is what's going to be the make or break. How is the Leafs depth going to play outside of their superstar type players? Another thing is, how is Campbell going to look? This is a guy who's been shaky He's a guy who's going to have a ton of pressure on him. Can he match what the Lightning are going to be able to do here with their X factor, in my opinion, in Vasilevsky? He is a goaltender that can stand on his head and single-handedly win this series for the Lightning. And we've seen this before. It's like the bad parts of the movie. You know what's coming, and you hope it doesn't come, but it's the inevitable. And that is the Leafs come in with a ton of momentum, so much offensive firepower. But if they meet a hot goaltender at the right time, they are stunted. They are limited. We saw it last year with Carey Price and what he did to this Leafs offensive core. So if Vasilevsky can get hot at the right time and he's able to have a big series, this is going to be a tough series for the Leafs to win. So that's going to be my X factor for the Lightning. My X factor for the Leafs is, can they get other people to help out their superstar type goal scorers in Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner? So we'll see what happens here, but I will say this. Whoever wins this series, they're going to have a really good shot to get through. And I think for the Leafs in particular, because all it's going to take for this team is to finally get that monkey off their back, to finally shut everybody up, to finally quiet the noise. And if they can get through the first round, and by doing so they beat the back-to-back Stanley Cup champs, this might be that year. And I know we've been saying that for years on year, but this might be that year that the Leafs finally make that improbable run to the Cup, something that people have been waiting their entire lifetime for. So I'm excited about this series. Game 1 goes tonight. It's going to be a big game for the Leafs. This is a team that usually struggles in Game 1. A little bit more on that later on when I give you my official pick. But this is going to be a huge game. And keep in mind, there's fans back. The Maple Leafs didn't play with fans when they collapsed last year against the Canadiens. So that home crowd, that home ice advantage for the Leafs, it's going to be rocking tonight at Scotiabank Arena. We just had the NBA playoffs with the Raptors. Now it's time for the Maple Leafs, and hopefully the Leafs can make it further than the Raptors did. So let's get into some picks for tonight. Let's pick some winners. And we're first going to start in the NBA. First game, we got Sixers Heat. The Heat, 7.5-point favorites, rightfully so. Sixers are without their best player, Joel Embiid. But I like the Sixers to keep this game close. Expect a big game from Harden and Maxey. I think this game goes down to the wire. 7.5 is too many points for me to lay here. I'm going to go with Philadelphia. I think if they are going to steal one of these two games, it's going to be tonight. Everybody seems to have written off the Sixers team without Embiid. I think they come up with a big statement performance tonight. They will make it close. Give me the Sixers plus 7.5. Next game, we got Mavericks taking on the Phoenix Suns. This is an amazing series, man. You're talking about the Phoenix Suns, best team in the NBA record-wise, going up against a Dallas Mavericks team that finally made it past the first round. We just talked about a team that needs to get past the first round in the Maple Leafs. The Mavs exercised those demons when they beat the Jazz. First time getting to the second round since they won it all in 2011. Jason Kidd was playing for them the last time the Mavs sniffed second round playoff action in the NBA. And they got Luca Doncic. Whenever you got a superstar like Luca, you got a chance. So for tonight, I think the Mavericks, they will keep this game close, and I would not be surprised if they stun everybody with a Game 1 win against the Suns. I'm actually going to take the points here as well. Give me the Mavs plus 5.5. You look at Phoenix, they did get Devin Booker back, which was great, but the Pelicans, they put them on the ropes a little bit there. A 36-win team. They won 2 games. Now you're going up against a much better Mavs team. Their defense has been much better. Luka Doncic is back playing Luka basketball. Brunson has been great. He's going to have to play like he did in that first series if they want any chance in the series. But the Mavericks got the shooters that can make this a series. 3-point shooters everywhere, and that's what you need around Luka, who's a guy that attracts so much attention. And I want to see how the Suns handle Luka, who they throw on him. Mikal Bridges is their best defender. Will we see that? Will we get D-Book on him? We're going to get a lot of exciting matchups, but I think the Mavericks, they might have something special here. I still do have the Suns winning the series, but as of tonight, give me the Mavericks plus 5.5. Now let's get into some NHL picks. I'm just going to give you 2 picks here. First game, Bruins Hurricanes. We're going on the puck line. Hurricanes -1.5. Give me the Bruins. I think the big question for the Hurricanes going into this postseason is, can they carry that regular season success into the postseason? You look at the Bruins, they got guys who have been here before. I think they got the psychological advantage and they got the talent advantage with their top scorers on this team. This is a series that I look at when you talk about potential first round upsets. This is one that screams out to me. I think the Bruins are going to be a tough out. And I think tonight they will win this game. So I'm actually going to take the Bruins +1.5 on the puck line. If you're feeling extra, confident, put them on the money line as well. And then the game everybody in Toronto is going to be watching, the Lightning going up against the Maple Leafs. So going back to what I said about the Leafs struggling in game ones, the Leafs are 3-8 in their last 11 postseason games played on their home ice. And they've lost game one at home in each of their past 2 playoff years. And they were 1-3 at home in the 2021 playoffs. Now, again, I know no fans, but this is a Maple Leafs team. I just don't trust them in pressure-packed moments. Yeah, they got to prove it to me before I'm on that Leafs hype train. I think they're going to stumble out of the get-go here. I like the Lightning tonight. I do. Give me the Lightning +1.5. And I'm just going to say it right now, spoiler alert, I think the Lightning win this series. I have the Lightning in 7 games. I think it's going to be tough for the Leafs. They will take it to that game 7, but then in, typical Leafs fashion, they blow it on home ice. I'm sorry for being a downer here. I just tell it how it is. Give me the Lightning to win the series. And as for tonight, I think the Lightning get it done in Toronto to really give themselves a nice boost in the series going forward. So those are my picks for tonight. You could do a nice 4-team parlay. Let's recap quickly. I got the Sixers +7.5, Mavericks +5.5. I got the Bruins +1.5 on the puck line, and the Lightning +1.5 on the puck line as well. Again, you can pick them on the money line if you want to. Those are my plays. Take it or leave it. But that's it. That's going to conclude another great edition of Laying the Points with Luca Rosano. I'm your host, Luca Rosano, coming to you every single day, Monday through Friday, with the show live from the Parlay Studios. You can follow us all over social media. You can find this podcast at Apple Podcasts. You can find this show on YouTube, Parlay TV, where we talk sports, sports betting, and more. Thank you for watching. This is Luca Rosano signing off. Take care, and I'll see you all again tomorrow.